Now, as we said, both of them will be competing at the UK Open, which returns this Friday, the FA Cup of Darts, as it is a blind draw. Anyone can draw anyone, at least as long as they're still in the competition. Who do you make, though, as the favorite, or can you make someone the favorite given the randomness of the event?
I think it's extremely difficult, and with this event, the UK Open is one of my favourite tournaments of the year, and with the random draw that we do get to bring back the classic jokes as well. The final draw, of course, we can reveal on the show that me and you, Burton, will be doing the draw for the final of the UK Open on Sunday night, which we're both excited for. But it's a tough event to predict, and just because of how random it is, you've got that random draw after each round, which means Friday night we could see a repeat of the Premier League. On Thursday night, we could see Michael van Gerwen against Gerwyn Price. We could see Michael Smith against Peter Wright. We could end up, as a result of that, losing 2 of the top 4 in the last 64, and we could end up losing more big names in that Friday night session, such is the nature of this tournament. And you've only got to look down the Roll of Honour, the last 20 years that this event has been going for. And I mentioned it on the show last week when one of our listeners was asking for some early predictions about Phil Taylor's record in the UK Open, Michael van Gerwen's record in the UK Open. It doesn't stack up with their records in the other majors. They've not won as many of these events as they have won others, particularly Phil Taylor. You look at what he did in his career, the UK Open, it was one that he didn't manage to have a dominant run in. So, it's a hard one to win. It's a hard one to prepare for. And I think you look at the bookies as well. One of the PDC's former title sponsors, Ladbrokes, I was having a little look at their odds for the UK Open, and you've got Michael van Gerwen, they've put as the favourite 5-1, Gerwyn Price, Michael Smith, both 7-1, and then Peter Wright 11-1. And I was just trying to compare that to some other events that they've got odds on, and you've got the Premier League, Michael van Gerwen 13-8 to win the playoffs, Michael Smith 3-1, Gerwyn Price 7-2. So much shorter odds for free players before you even get to the favourite for the UK Open. And you take into account the Premier League as well, the new format we've got. You're not going to see someone turn up to the UK Open having won 4 out of 4 or 5 out of 5 matches top of the table like the old format, because nowadays you've got the nightly tournaments. We've had 4 different winners so far from the 4 nights, and we could end up with 5 on Thursday night. So that's even before the UK Open starts. So I think if I was pushed to pick a favourite, if Michael van Gerwen wins the Premier League in Exeter, that would be back-to-back nights that he's won the Premier League, and he would open up a little bit of a gap at the top. But for me, I think this is as open as any major event you're going to see in the PDC this year, or indeed any year. So, definitely an event to enjoy.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in full agreement there. It is. I mean, I think there is at least 2 players who are right there to be favorite. The 2 Michaels, I think, have to be in either order. Van Gerwen, winning 4 majors last year, winning the Premier League, winning the World Match Play, for most of the year being the best player in the world, and making it all the way to the World Final this year has to be in that conversation. But Michael Smith, obviously, at the back end of the year, was able to cross that line in the Grand Slam and then win the World Championships and kick on this year, winning a World Series event, winning already one night in the Premier League when it took him 16 to do that last year. I think they are the 2 best players in the world right now, but they could very well be playing on Friday night in the last 64, the way the draw goes. And it makes it just all that more interesting. Almost every year, there's at least one blockbuster 4th round tie where you either see 2 Premier League players go head to head, or a Premier League player and someone else who's in the top 8 or the top 10 in the rankings, but got left out of the Premier League. That happens pretty much every year. There's no guarantee. You could end up with the entire top 32 drawing people who have won from outside the top 32. It's unlikely, very unlikely, but it could happen. But it's just as likely that you'll see a bunch of these top players go draw each other. And the more they do, the more they get knocked out earlier, the more dark horses you get deeper into the field. And yes, someone will still need to beat Michael van Gerwen or Michael Smith or whoever that top player is. But it's a lot easier to beat one of the top 8 players in the world than it will be in a normal tournament. We'll have to be 2 or 3 or even 4, depending on where they fall in the draw and when you come across them. And it makes it harder to pick. It makes it, as you went through the odds, makes it much more wide open to begin with. I don't think there's a clear-cut best player, but I think there are 2 that are a level above. And then you get to the likes of Gezi, Johnny Clayton, Peter Wright, even like someone like Ross Smith, Dirk Van Dijvenbode, who are still right there playing really, really well right now as well. Damon Hedda, not to forget him. So there are players who very well could do this. But I don't think there is a clear-cut favorite. There are 2. I do also want to mention, in case people missed the news, it's a huge increase in the prize pool this year. Last year it was $450,000. It's up to $600,000 this year. That's increased by fully a third. An extra £10,000 to the winner, $10,000 extra to the runner-up, $10,000 extra to the semifinalist. For the first time ever, players who make it to the second round are guaranteed to leave with prize money. It shows just how much this event has grown and how darts has grown, that you're now having £110,000 to the winner. The semifinalists are making the same amount that Phil Taylor made to win it the very first time he competed. The quarterfinalists are making the same amount that Mark Walsh made for making the final back in 2005. It really is a growing prize pool, and it makes it all the more to play for.